So for my next video, I get to combine my two favorite things, metal detecting and woodworking. Let's get cutting.
My last project I built was some box shelves in the bathroom. I had a few pieces of black oak left over, and I thought this would be just enough for this project. The leftover pieces were still raw, so I picked out the best pieces so I would not have to work too hard at getting them straight. I wanted a traditional rectangle look, so I measured out 18 inches by 12 inches. After cutting one, I used the second one as a guide so both pieces are identical. I do this for both the 18 and the 12-inch pieces. Because these pieces are raw, I will run them through the table saw. If your wood is store-bought, you will not need to do this step, but to ensure they are all identical, it really never hurts. You can set your miter saw to 45 degrees and cut your corners. You can even use your table saw. But if you have a framing jig, this step is simplified. Cut your corners and check your fit. After you put all your pieces together, use a square to ensure everything is 90 degrees. If everything looks good, label each piece with a number clockwise. I do this because, believe it or not, even though everything is square the first time you lay it out, things have a tendency to change if you don't place all the pieces back in the same position when putting it together. You can cut 2/4 inch cuts to make your back plate relief, but I prefer using my dado set to save time. Before I swap out the blade, I make my glass cut. It will be 1/4 inch deep and 1/4 inch down from the face. Now switch out your blade and make your relief cuts for your back plate. Now let's join the frame. Remember to join only 3 sides together. You need to sand and insert your glass before putting the final piece in place. I use wood glue and 2 brads. Then I check to ensure that the corners remain at a solid 90-degree angle. Repeat this for the other side as well. Now with 3 sides joined together, you can take a measurement of your inside relief. Then you can cut your back plate to fit. Lay your first cut inside the relief and make your marks for your second cut using the relief itself. Now check your fit, and if all is well, flip your box over and measure your inside space. We will now cut our display board. Repeat the same steps as before, cutting your foam board to size. Since we used 1/4 inch for our glass groove cut, take the measurement of the inside of the box and add 1/2 inch to it. Then cut your glass. I use tape to mark the spot, and it also helps the straight edge with something to grip to while cutting. This is overkill for a simple frame, but if you want to add some flair to your box, you can round out the face. Now sand down your frame to a smooth finish. Once you're done sanding, it's time to stain. I used a dark espresso to really give the black oak a dark look. This, with a black interior, will make all the contents of the box really stand out. I lay everything out, and then when I get everything just right, I outline everything with a pencil. I purposely leave a little space at the top so I can add a few more bullets or buttons when I find them in the future. This is only the first layer of foam board, so you will have to cut out all of your traced out areas. Take whatever you have and use it to cut out the shapes. Take some spray shellac and spray the frame. Do this so it has time to dry while you work on your backplate. After all your shapes are cut out, lay down your backplate on another piece of foam board and cut out the perimeter. Lay down some felt and cut a piece large enough to cover the top piece. Using some Elmer's glue, put a bead down and spread it out and try to avoid any lumps. Then lay your felt down. Now cut your felt, leaving about 1 inch around the border. Using some duct tape, tape down the back side. Cut your corners, but be careful not to cut too close. Now, this is my first time trying to display objects like this, so to be safe, I intend to use stem wire to hold them in place. Elmer's glue works great here too, but if you're afraid your objects are too heavy and will dislodge, the stem wire will give you that sense of security. I will place the wire over each object that needs it and place the ends between the two pieces of foam board when I glue them together. These 3-ring bullets are pretty heavy, so I'm hoping that this will do the trick. Now that my shellac is dry, I will put in my glass and then put my frame together. Keep working your wire or your glue until all of your pieces are in place. Then we're going to join the two backboards together. Put a healthy coat of wood glue down and then lay the top piece onto the bottom piece. Make sure all wires are flat and out. Then just weight it down and wait for it to dry. The last step is now just to glue your foam board to the back plate. What you'll do is you'll put a healthy coat of wood glue down, you'll set your foam board onto the back plate, and then you'll place your frame over it to make sure it is properly centered before it dries. Well, that's it. If you have any questions about what's in this box, I would love to discuss in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.